To always get the latest Game Tea, do not forget to follow us on social media. You can find us on Facebook at The Game Tea Podcast, and you can find us on Twitter at Game Tea Podcast X. We post memes, gaming news, retweet friends of the pod, and of course let you know when new episodes are available for your listening pleasure. Links are all available in the description of this episode, so check them out after the show, and thank you so much for listening to the Game Tea Podcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Game Tea Podcast. My name is JP.
I'm Zach.
I'm Peaches.
And I'm Czar.
So you might have heard Zach making dog noises or whatever he's doing, because he's very, very excited for this episode. Rumors. Rumors are the driving force for so many of the topics that we talk about on this podcast.
Tinfoil hat time?
No.
Tinfoil hat time?
Keep that in the garbage. There's a difference between a rumor and a tinfoil hat theory. Rumors have credibility.
Oh.
Shut up, Czar.
You know, I heard a rumor that JP enjoys sucking my toes, but...
Why would you say that?
So,
you said rumors have credibility, so,
you know what else?
am I going to see you soon?
JP has 10 toes. 10 toes. I have 10 juicy rumors for you guys today.
10 delicious piggies.
Ooh.
I really wish I didn't just say that, to be
I
honest.
really tried to transition away from it, and JP went fucking right back into it. Just re-dove in there.
I took the steering wheel and I grabbed it and I turned that bitch. Okay. Anyway, we talk a lot about rumors on this show, but thanks to Zach not being here for like 3 to 4 months, we have missed out on a lot of fantastic Nintendo rumors that have been spreading around. Now, this could be a big year for Nintendo, but our residential Nintendo man is back and ready to talk some serious Nintendo. So, Zach, what are we talking about today?
First off, I only work here when Nintendo works, okay? And Nintendo only works apparently 3 or 4 times out of the year. So blame them, not me, okay?
If that.
All right. Second thing, guys, what is the best time of the year?
Leif Erikson Day?
Yeah. Definitely not Arbor Day.
Oh, how could I forget about Arbor Day?
Never forget Arbor Day.
All right. Well, first off, you guys didn't help me at all there. So rude.
Did you expect us to?
So, the best time of the year is E3 season because it's like super Christmas time for gamers.
Oh
Okay?
yeah, that is a good time of the year.
I don't know if you guys know this, but people like to spread rumors and talk because people like to talk about what they've been working on.
Sure.
And so there's a lot of Nintendo rumors that are like coagulating. Yeah, I'm gonna say that word, coagulating.
Ooh.
And the more I look at this year, the more I'm like, well, I thought it was gonna be last year, and I was wrong then, so I'm gonna try again this year. Okay? So that's why we're here today. You guys ready to talk rumors?
Yeah.
So are these as much rumors as they are just Zach's hopes and dreams written down on a piece of paper?
Let's not try to crush though.
Glad you said that. Okay, so yes. So these rumors are like not like just random things I found on 4chan, believe it or not. I don't actually browse 4chan. Because I like feeling happiness. Okay, so when I talk about these rumors, at the end of the day, they are rumors, so take them with a grain of salt. But there's a lot of rumors, again, coagulating around these topics. And so I really think there's some validity behind 80% of these. And then 20%, I feel like they're throwing shit at the fan.
Okay, just let us know when shit's getting thrown at the fan, because that's going to be Czar's tinfoil hat theory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, you guys ready to get started?
Yeah.
First rumor.
Okay, so this is something that I'm excited for, and I am curious if any of you, I feel like I'm the one who's going to even care about this. There's Nintendo Switch Pro rumors, and so we've been talking about this. I feel like whenever there was a Switch Lite, the first talk about a Switch Lite, there was a talk about a Switch Pro.
No more bezels.
No, less bezels.
Less
Yeah,
bezels.
no more. No more bezels.
I thought you said more bezels. I'm like, no, why would you want more bezels?
All the bezels.
I don't even know what a bezel is, but I demand more of them because I think I'm at a shortage of bezels.
Peaches is on a bezel. The bezel is like, okay, so on a smartphone, the bezel is the black part around the screen that's not actually screen.
Oh, okay, yeah, definitely more of that then.
Fuck you.
No, none of that.
Oh, the bezel.
I want everything I look at to look like the Zack Snyder cut of Justice League.
Zach's right. We've been talking about a Nintendo Switch Pro for so long now. Zach, what would that even look like?
Basically, no one knows. Nintendo is holding this close to their chest. They're really good at that. That's partially why I hate them. But Bloomberg has been talking about Nintendo Switch Pro. They talked about it being 4K supported on the TV mode. It's still having a 720p screen because the 180p difference isn't that great. Anyway, it's not worth the price, I guess, is what they were arguing in the theoretical article about this theoretical gaming console that may or may not be coming. And so with that, there are Switch rumors coming from Inverse.com where they're talking about OLED screens. And that just gets me super giddy because I know OLED is like super talked about in high regard because I was looking into like PSPs and PS Vitas. And basically, like, you always want to get the, like, and usually it's the opposite. Like, usually you want the later model, but the PS Vita originally came out with an OLED screen, and then they switched to LCD to save cost. But OLED, apparently, since the Switch has came out, OLED prices have dropped, so now Nintendo's able to go with an OLED screen. And basically, and you guys can correct me because I'm not the super big screen guy, but I'm pretty sure OLED just means, like, they say that you want an OLED screen because the colors pop more and they're more responsive. And that was kind of the gist of that.
But how many Witchers can OLED handle?
Okay, so what is OLED is actually a really great question. It's really interesting because LED stands for light emitting diode. All that means is that, like, with each pixel, it has a special way of, like, lighting up. And OLED is essentially just like a new enhancement of that. So to make colors pop. And a big part of that is making like blackers black and, you know, making like lighter colors really pop. So, I mean, that is a gross oversimplification of what the technology actually is. But there you go.
Perfect. And so I just thought that was a cool way to get started. I do think Switch Pro will be a this year thing. I do think no one's going to be able to get one because PS5 and Xbox Series X are also a shit show to get right now. And they've been out for half a year. So
what are some other features we'd like to see though, Zach? Like if we're just throwing shit to the wall right now for fuck's sake, I mean, where's the Bluetooth capabilities with the Nintendo Switch?
Okay, so see, that's the funny thing is I don't really care about anything besides I want them to have Bluetooth support and I want them to have the OLED screens. And honestly, like I just want it to be stronger so it can run games better. That's pretty much it. Cause I don't know, JP, like my smartphone says it's like 2K capable, 2.4. What do you call it? It's like not Neo LED or what are the four things? I get confused after HD. HD 720, right?
Yeah, essentially. For what it's worth, I agree with Nintendo that, like, you know, it doesn't make a ton of sense to do a 1080 screen because it's too small, and like they're right at that point. Like, but the difference between 720 and 1080 is not going to be too worth the price jump. But I mean, as long as they're like, if there is a Switch Pro and like the whole point is to not cut costs and just make a stellar product, I say go for it.
Yeah. If it's like a $300, like even $400, I'd be okay with. $500, I don't think Nintendo would ever do $500. I don't think that. And Nintendo does where the fuck it wants, though. So hey,
I have a strange suggestion that I would like to have added.
What are you thinking, JP?
All right, are you ready for this? 2 game cartridge slots.
Oh.
2,
how would that work?
It wouldn't be that hard. You would just like install, like on the motherboard, you would just make another card slot. Like if you look at the Nintendo Switch's motherboard, you would be so shocked at how simple it is. It is such a simple little motherboard. But I mean, like another part of the Pro version, if you're making it a little bit bigger, put on another freaking game slot because I am so sick of like, you know what? I'm not getting into this.
And now I have an idea.
What are you thinking, Peaches?
Remove 1 game slot from the Nintendo Switch.
That would make it 0 game slots.
Oh my
Shut up,
God.
Peaches. More bezels, less game slots.
Yes, now we've got a console.
That's my perfect console.
I would say, like, I feel like Nintendo Switch is like set. Bigger like storage, onboard storage would be sick. Same battery life as the 2.0 Switch has now.
Better kickstand. Better kickstand and move the SD card slot.
Okay, sure, but how many times have you used tabletop mode, JP?
Okay, that's a very fair point, but as a rebuttal, that's because the kickstand is dog shit that I never give it serious consideration.
Fair enough.
It's true.
Joy-Cons, they both need D-pads. They both need D-pads.
Okay, that is an interesting claim.
I mean, it'll make it weird for the second player, but the second player is always getting that 2-player controller anyway, so they can deal. Okay.
Well, I would also say, this is especially wild for my previous suggestions. What if they made Joy-Cons that didn't drift?
Every single controller right now drifts, Peaches. It's kind of like a thing right now.
Right, but have you also noticed that Joy-Cons drift damn near instantly, where I have had a Xbox controller for 4 years that still doesn't drift?
Isn't that funny how I have Joy-Cons that haven't drifted yet, even though I have had a pair that have drifted instantly, so it's almost like...
Well, the problem is we have nothing to go off of that's not anecdotal, because I had both of my Joy-Cons for 3 years before I noticed any drift. But when it started, it was bad.
But guys, you're missing the point here. More drift, less game slots, more bezels.
More bezels!
And so the Switch Pro talk, yeah, that's kind of it. I just think that'll be like a this year thing. And I think it'll be a separate direct from the E3 Direct.
I love rumors because you can just start saying shit and everyone's like, yeah, that is a good idea.
Yeah, more bezels.
No!
All right. So there was our warm-up, guys. You guys sound like you're warmed up. So we're going to go into this leak. This leak is coming from Game Rant, which is coming. And the reason I'm listing as Game Rant is to let you know, like, Nintendo Life talked about them. Oh my God, what am I forgetting their name? Game Explain talked about this. So like, it's pretty credible. There's a lot of people talking about this right now. So I think it's got a lot of credibility to it. And so this is this guy named Zippo. And he was the one who told us back a year ago when the 2 directs in June were going to be, when we hadn't had directs in like forever. And it was like so weird that he was right. And he's also got a few things wrong. So obviously, like I said, he kind of does seem like he throws some things at the fans so the Nintendo ninjas don't come kill him.
What do you got, man?
This first one I thought was czar. Donkey Kong, just a new Donkey Kong. All right. And so that's all we have. The only thing we know is apparently he says it has nothing to do with Donkey Kong Country, and that it most likely, from what he's heard, is a 2D Donkey Kong, which kind of makes me sad. If you had to pick, would you want a 2D Donkey Kong or a 3D Donkey Kong?
3D, 100% of the way. I want to see a game. I want to see a Donkey Kong game where they reintroduce the Donkey Kong family. Where the hell's Lanky? Where the hell's Chunky? Where the hell's Tiny?
Where they belong.
You know what's funny is I disagree. I think that Donkey Kong works very well as 2D. I think this is just my opinion, but I think if you turned Donkey Kong into like a 3D style game, you would start to trudge into territory where it might become more generic, like with other 3D games that have been established. I think Donkey Kong works extremely well as a 2D platformer.
I think that's really great how you said that, because I was thinking that too. Like, Donkey Kong has to kind of find its own groove. Like, it went full collectathon, which granted it was made by Rare back on the N64 when it was 3D. And it was basically Banjo-Kazooie, but with too many collectibles.
Yeah, it really was.
I'm just saying that Sonic went from 2D to 3D, and look what happened. When will you learn? When will you learn?
Donkey Kong and, to a lesser extent, Kirby have kind of been stuck in this never-ending straight line of they haven't really done anything new since the SNES. I mean, I guess the N64, I should say, for Donkey Kong 64. But yeah, like Kirby has basically been just that 2D platformer that's like easy, and then Donkey Kong's been the 2D platformer that's like hard.
And
two sides of the same coin.
I'm just saying that I almost prefer it that way. I think that Donkey Kong really has its 2D platformer down. I just think that if it tried to go into 3D territory, they would start to, unless they did something really, really unique and off the wall, like the way that Donkey Kong is, I don't think they'd be able to present anything that's super unique that would justify them making that change to 3D.
And what's really cool and I think should get you excited, JP, then is the Super Mario Odyssey team is supposedly working on this, and that's coming from Nintendo Life.
Ooh, that changes things.
No, I don't. So they still say, like Zippo's still saying it's a 2D platform.
Yeah, that's weird that you're going to put the Odyssey crew on a 2D linear game.
But that almost alludes to the fact that despite like the 2D is what I want them to stay at, that they're probably going to go in Czar's direction on this. Maybe?
I would hope so. I want to see 3D Donkey Kong.
To be fair, just saying that, you know, the Super Mario Odyssey team, who traditionally works on like 3D platforming games, is now going to be working on this game does not necessarily dictate the fact that, you know, the new Donkey Kong game, if there is one, #rumors, is gonna be 3D. I saw Mario Odyssey. It's a very unique, well-made game. Like, I'm sure if they really wanted to make a bitchin' Donkey Kong platformer, they could.
Bring back Lanky Kong.
Who's Lanky?
Who's Lanky? Oh, my God.
The
audacity.
I didn't play Donkey Kong.
That's what I used to record with. What's your point?
Heyo.
Czar, I'm sorry, but I never played Donkey Kong.
Yeah, but he was also in...
Yeah, have you played Tropical Freeze, JP?
Yeah, he was in Tropical
No!
Freeze.
Because I've wanted Tropical Freeze ever since I got my hands on the Switch, but I don't want to buy Tropical Freeze at $60, and it never once has dropped below that.
It has dropped a few times before, but it's fine, JP.
To what, Zach? $53?
$43, I think. Maybe even 38 once.
I don't believe that.
Call me when it's 25.
Okay, you guys can also borrow my copy. Anyway, JP, not JP. Peaches, do you have any comments on Donkey Kong?
To be honest, I was looking into the Joy-Con thing still, but absolutely not.
Peaches is still salty.
Fair enough.
Never leaving a topic unsalted.
Well, I mean, I did some research and found out I was absolutely right, but that's all right.
Go on, please. We'll tie it back in. That's for JP to edit in.
We have already way past it. Donkey Kong is not of really any interest to me, so
I was going to say none of what we're talking about is any interest to Peaches.
I'm just here for the vibes, man.
Not a fan of the monkey.
Monkey!
All right, our next Nintendo franchise that I hope to God gets some love is Metroid.
Yes!
And Zippo is saying there is a new 2D Metroid being developed by Mercury Steam.
Another game I want 3D.
It's about goddamn time.
Like, I want Metroid. Definitely want Metroid, don't get me wrong. But another game I would want 3D.
Yeah, I'm curious what they would do. Did any of you get the 3DS version of Metroid Samus Returns?
Yes, I did actually. I liked it. It wasn't incredible. I thought it was a little cookie cutter, but I mean, like, I'm so thirsty for anything that's Metroid because I actually picked it up last year during like GameStop was doing this fantastic sale on like you buy a couple of pre-owned Nintendo 3DS products and you get a couple more. I picked that up along with like 4 other great Nintendo games and I thought it was okay. Just okay. Not incredible, but like I said, I wanted something Metroid so badly I was willing to deal with it.
I was really happy with the Metroid Samus Returns. They took some liberties. Like you said, it was cookie cutter. It was based off Metroid 2 on the Game Boy, so pretty dated game. And they took some liberties doing the whole Aeon system, and I thought they did some really cool things without like ruining the essence that is Metroid 2. And so I'm hopeful that they'll do the same with either like Metroid Fusion or like they'll just make a brand new Metroid, which I don't know, that would be kind of cool. We haven't had a brand new Metroid since Metroid Other M, and people were kind of complaining about that one, but we'll see how that goes.
Metroid, I'm more on the fence on whether I give a shit if it's 3D and 2D because they've done both successfully. This is one where I think I'd prefer it to be 3D. If anything, to deviate because they made like two 3D Metroid games, if that, and the rest have been 2D platforming. So I think it's time for a brilliant 3D Metroid game. And I think the Switch could benefit greatly from that type of game too. I think that anybody's Nintendo Switch collection would be, elevated with some type of 3D Metroid.
Wholeheartedly agreed. And so that's why we go on to the next one is there's a Metroid Prime trilogy that we've been talking about since the Game Awards of like 2017, I think. 2018.
I know you and I at least have been talking about it for a long time.
Oh, it's coming.
It's coming.
It's cooking. And a Retroid ex-Retro employee stated that it would be very hard to create one. He tweeted this out because they would have to rewrite all the code, and that could take upwards to a year with 3 to 4 people working on it. And I'm sitting here like, okay, I'm sure there's some difficulties with it, but I'm also thinking they're remaking Skyward Sword HD. Prime Trilogy probably wouldn't be that hard considering the first 2 were on the GameCube anyway. So, yeah, I think this Prime Trilogy is still full on, boys. I think this still definitely can happen.
Now, we're just fans who own a gaming podcast, so what the fuck do we know?
Facts.
But I have seen people begging for years now, even before the Switch, for the next Metroid game. And next to nobody asked for Skyward Sword to be ported to the Switch, so...
What? Nah, Eiji Aonuma, he did a thing. He said, do you guys want Skyward Sword remade? And they were like, yeah. And then he was like, okay.
Yeah, those were all me. Every account was me. Because all 1,200 responses were me with new accounts. Because I'm really excited that Skyward Sword got ported to the Switch. But as a huge Zelda fan, I also know that for other Zelda fans, Skyward Sword is one of the most hated Zelda games. Unjustly, because that game is really, really good and everybody's just being a weenie whiny woo woo. But
motion controls.
Motion control. But I'm just saying, like, I don't want to hear the excuse, oh, we have to redo the code. That, because a Metroid trilogy would sell like hotcakes. People would be all over that. That's an easy moneymaker for Nintendo.
So that was like rumored not to be happening, and I just want to provide counter evidence for that. Have either of you played the Metroid? Has any of us played the Metroid Prime trilogy? It's kind of what I thought. That's what the sales figures state as well too, sadly. I actually bought it when I owned a Wii U, and then I never actually played it. So I really hope it comes to Switch so I can actually play it. It's still...
Give it the love that it deserves.
It's still locked onto my Wii U account that I'll never use.
No.
Oh, no. No, that's so sad.
No one's going to talk about Metroid Prime 4 because Metroid Prime 4 probably isn't happening this year. Is that all in agreement here?
Yeah, that...
Oh, fuck no.
Didn't we take bets on how many decades it would take to see anything about that game?
Yeah. I think you were just trolling me, but yeah.
I'm going to make a very bold claim. I don't think we're going to see a brand new Metroid title in the lifespan of the Switch. I think that whatever Nintendo is doing next, we might see a Metroid game, but like if they haven't gotten on the Metroid train by now, especially now that like they just don't have much going on at the moment, I don't think they're gonna bite that hook.
Shh, Metroid Prime 4 is coming to the Switch. Don't worry, JP. Any day now.
Oh, it's coming.
Oh, it's coming.
Such a cool thing. It just gets to the shaft all the time.
You get shafted.
Well, on the other side of that, there's a new budding franchise. There's a Fire Emblem is kind of exploding right now thanks to Smash and then Three Houses. And there's talks of there hasn't been any new Fire Emblem in a while, and so why not Fire Emblem remake? They usually do it kind of similar to Pokemon, where they do a brand new game, then they remake one of their old ones, and they do a brand new game. And so by that account, we're due for a remake, and the internet's been buzzing about a Path of Radiance remake. And I was thinking they could also do that Shadow Dragon remake because they just released it kind of casually with the Mario 35th anniversary, and they discontinued it. So I'm wondering why they would discontinue that as well, but there's no reason unless they're doing a remake of it.
Fire Emblem is super interesting in the fact that we understand how incredibly popular it is. But at the same time, we know that popularity is not really amongst the North American crowd. Fire Emblem is pretty popular in Japan. And even though it does okay in the States, it doesn't even touch how Japan does. Like, Czar, have you ever actually played a Fire Emblem game?
Anime Sword Fighters.
Yeah, and have you played them?
No, I have not.
Zach, Have you played a Fire Emblem game?
Yeah, I like almost 100% in 3 houses. It was really fun.
Okay, because yeah, I played Three Houses too.
Which house did you pick?
Oh fuck, the one with the pretty guy,
There's 2 pretty guys, JP.
the blue pretty guy.
Ooh, that's the one house I haven't done yet.
I honest to God really enjoyed Three Houses. What I really, really loved about Three Houses is how like it was actually a really hard decision which house to choose. Because like everybody had so many interesting characters, and that's ultimately how I chose, is like, who do I think has the most interesting characters? And yeah, I ended up choosing the blue house. I don't even remember what it's called at this point because it's been over a year since I played it, but yeah, it was really great. And Fire Emblem is kind of like Final Fantasy, right, Zach? In that like you don't have to have played the other games to be able to enjoy what's going on in the current game.
Right, there's just like little nods and Easter eggs every now and then, but totally.
But other than that, it's like different stories amongst different
Right.
folks.
Yep. And so that's why I'm excited, is because I really haven't played any other games besides Three Houses, and I really liked what I played there. And like you said, there was a lot of compelling characters, and the game was gorgeous and really pushed the Switch to its limits. So I'm excited.
Has there ever been a remaster of a Fire Emblem game?
Yeah, there was Shadows of Valencia, I think. Yeah, for the 3DS.
Okay, so it's not completely unfeasible that they would do this.
Right. That's another possible game that we could be having this year. And then I think you guys have heard of Pokemon, so I won't spend too much time on it, but there's the new Pokemon games coming out this year, Shining Pearl and Brilliant Diamond. Did I get that backwards? Is it Shining Diamond? Shining Pearl?
No, I think that you said it right the first time. That sounds right. Usually diamonds are considered brilliant.
All right. Adjectives plus game.
Yeah.
Gen 4. That one.
Chibi art style.
Chibi out Steiner. We kind of got most of that off our chest already. I'm just hoping the HMs are gone. Anything you guys want to comment on that one?
I'm super excited to see one of those top-down Pokemon games come back to the Switch.
I just want my precious baby Bidoof. I mean, you guys know how I feel about 4th gen. It's my favorite generation of Pokemon. Even if the story wasn't fantastic, I feel like they nailed it with every Pokemon design in the lore. I don't think we're gonna see that until next year.
Didn't they already announce it was coming? It was coming out fall 2020, JP. Are you saying it's going to get delayed?
Yes. What? Yeah. Yes, that's what I'm saying. And rightfully so. We talk all the time, like, we're okay with delays as long as the quality of the product that we are receiving heightens. And it's not unfathomable that they would push something back, right? Animal Crossing was supposed to be a 2019 release, and it got delayed for like 6 months, didn't it?
Yeah, but I feel like Shining Pearl and Brilliant Diamond aren't going to be like the it games. Like,
Animal Crossing was the it game.
I don't know about that. I've seen so many people get super excited about these remakes.
I think the next game that Zach's going to talk about is going to be delayed.
Well, what's that next game, Zachary?
The Pokemon Legends of Arceus.
Yeah.
I hope that gets delayed because that 5 FPS Chingling thing scared me.
Oh, that
yeah.
was horrid.
There were some bad frame drops.
Everything about that trailer got me excited. Other than I'm like, if they thought this was the show, like, it better be a far ways away.
Okay, you know what? I mean, like, I'm not saying that I don't think, well, only one of them gets to get delayed, but I mean, if we're talking about probability, yeah, Arceus definitely has a higher probability of being delayed. And I think we're all in agreement when we say, as long as it means the game is going to be good and we don't get 5 FPS shingling. Because that was
113%.
Because that was bullshit.
But they're doing something new with Pokemon. Could be the whole new world.
5 FPS shingling, more bezels, less screen cartridges.
No buttons on Joy-Cons.
More drift.
More drift.
What about the Joy-Cons, Ches? Huh? I'm waiting for this article, bruh.
I'm trying to not let you be salty in the middle of your big show, so I was going to post it once this episode's done recording.
I'm always salty.
I remember saying exactly this when we were talking about that whole Pokemon Direct. We need to be very supportive of Pokemon Arceus. because this has been one of the only times where Pokemon has made a main title that deviates away from the formula that we have all been sick of for a very, very long time. And they're utilizing a lot of the ideas that I said I would love to see before I knew this game was a thing. So we need to make sure we show this game some love. And that doesn't mean it's exempt from criticism. That just means that we buy the game and, we say what we loved and what we didn't love. All right, Zach, what's next?
All right, so the last thing that's in Zippo's kind of rumor mill is he talks about the Zelda 35th anniversary is finally coming to fruition. And that'll include a bundle of Wind Waker and Twilight Princess. I assume HD, since it was already made for the Wii U.
Czar, did you just fucking drool as much as I did?
Yes, but I really hope that Ocarina of Time or Majora's Mask, wholeheartedly Majora's Mask, also make it onto that list in the bundle.
It's really hard to say with Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask because
Ocarina of Time has been remade so many times. And I mean, yes, there was the 3DS version of Majora's Mask, but I want to see an HD remaster of Majora's Mask on the Switch.
I mean, for fuck's sake, even if it's just a port, I'm okay with that.
Oh yeah.
I've thought about this a lot because Zelda is my favorite gaming franchise of all time. The two different bundles. The HD remastered bundles for Wind Waker and Twilight Princess can be one $60 game. And by the way, I'm okay with that price. I mean, I know a lot of people aren't going to be, but that's a lot of bang for your buck. And then another game that's ports of Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. How cool would that be?
Do the Master Quest again.
Or, hear me out.
Give these games the Master Quest treatment.
That's fair. That's fair.
They do Nintendo Online with the N64 games and include Majora's Mask and the Ocarina of Time. That way there's no remakes. It's easy peasy. And it's most part free.
It's easy peasy, but Nintendo wouldn't make their money wonny.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll ever bring the N64 to the level of, getting free games like with the SNES and NES. It's still a little too new, I feel.
That's fair. There's so much.
It's just 30 and a half years old.
You're not wrong.
I mean, the thing about Zelda fans is that there's so many different things that people would love to see. I'm sure there's somebody out there that's I really hope this is the year they port over Spirit Tracks. I loved that game. Somebody out there is genuinely saying that.
Or the Minish Cap. That was a good one.
Okay, but Minish Cap was actually really good.
Bring back Oracle of Seasons.
I was an Oracle of Ages guy. Oh, blow me. Anyway.
Oh, my.
Oh, my. I'm sorry.
And so after that, guys, Breath of Wild 2 coming out probably next year. Let's be real.
Yes.
Hopefully.
I'm kind of they might actually bring this year, but that's only because in the Nintendo Direct, they said we don't have any news at this time. Why would they even mention it if they didn't have any news?
Why would he even come on stage just to tease us?
It would have literally been better if they just didn't mention Breath of the Wild 2 at all. That was just a kick in the face.
No, that's why I feel like they did that to be hey, don't forget about it. It's coming out later this year.
It's coming!
Without actually saying it's coming out later this year,
I am incredibly excited for Breath of the Wild 2 for a lot of reasons. The primary one being, now you can make an argument for maybe Majora's Mask, but there's never been a direct sequel to a Zelda game ever. And it's for the best Zelda game ever made, in my opinion. So this is pretty lit. I can't wait to see what they do. And I am here to say, take as much time as you need, boo-boo, because I need this game to be good.
Yes.
Czar, any other thoughts on that?
No, I think you summed that up pretty well. Take your time with Breath of the Wild 2. I think we're going to see it next year, like Zach said. I don't know under what DEF CON scenario Breath of the Wild 2 would get released this year would be, but I'm here for it. I'm excited for all things Zelda, and I really want a classic collection bundle, just like the 3D Mario All-Stars.
Yeah, I do want the Super Mario treatment. I'm very excited to see what they're going to do. I mean, come on, next to Mario and Pokemon, like Zelda is Nintendo's like third child. It's the baby. It's the baby.
Really? I thought it was Captain Falcon.
You know how I know you're bullshitting me? Because the name of the game where he's from is not called Captain Falcon. It's the F-Zero series.
F-Zero.
He didn't even get the game named after him.
Yeah, that's how little of a shit they give about Captain Falcon. Okay? Captain Falcon. I love Captain Falcon. Playing Captain Falcon in Smash is lots of fun.
It's a dirty play.
Show me your moves.
All right. So next up, guys, I just kind of want to go off the bandwagon. So that was all Zippo had. All things considered, would you guys be happy with that E3? If that's what Nintendo brought to the show floor. So just to recap here.
If Nintendo brought everything we just talked about to E3, it would be such an utter success. I would take back everything bad I've ever said about the event.
I would still need to see some mud in between, you know. Some crap, just some tiny stuff that you could maybe get a little bit hyped for. But yes, ultimately that would be a hell of a show.
DC Superhero Boys. So next up, this is just stuff that I'm curious because he doesn't mention this and it's just been stuff that's been talked about. So I'm like, well, what's going on? So I don't know if you guys have heard of this company called Retro Studios in Austin, Texas. They have not worked on a game since Tropical Freeze has finished, and they picked up Metroid Prime 4 at the beginning of 2019. So for 4 years, they didn't finish a single game. And then there was a thing that Reggie tweeted out when he retired. It had a picture that was blurred out, and it mentioned Retro Studios. And they said they were working on something new, and so we figured that's what was blurred out, but there was nothing there. And so this is my tinfoil hat thing with Zara here. I'm just like, they've got to pull something out besides Metroid Prime 4, right? You can't just not work for 4 years and have nothing to show for it. Can you?
Metroid Prime 4 after 4 years.
I mean, that really is the question of the hour, isn't it? It's like, what the fuck have they been doing over there? Nintendo, I feel like Nintendo has been really discouraged, unfortunately, from new IPs because I think that they anticipated that ARMS was going to be a lot bigger than it actually turned out to be, and I think it really bummed them out when it didn't turn out that way. What do you think about that, Zach?
I mean, ARMS sold 1 million, which is pretty good for a new IP fighting game on a console that's been out for like 2 months.
I really think they expected that to take off more than they did, though. I'd say the biggest, like, contemporary IP Nintendo has is Splatoon.
Oh, no doubt. I'm not even, like, sure they have a lot of other new IPs. They did the SteamWorld Dig, which was not big. They had Box Boy. You know, can't forget about Box Boy.
Yeah, Box Boy.
Sushi Fighter or whatever, Sushi Stars.
Sushi Fido, The Way of the Sushido or something like that. Yeah. Great names. Great fucking names. Give them that. So anyway, now that we're off of that, so new game eventually. And there's going to be a new Xenoblade game at E3, guys. Call it now. There's got to be.
Oh, come on now.
Their music composer just finished up a big project, and he eerily did the exact same things he did when he finished a project for Xenoblade Chronicles 2. The only thing I have to prove this is that usually music production's at the tail end of something. So I believe there will be an announcement soon, either a Xenoblade X2 or a Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Definitely, probably not their new IP that they've been secretly working on.
And now just to specify, like, these things we're talking about now, like, they're not rumors grounded in, like, people who've been correct. These are just things, this is your bullshitting, right?
This is me speculating and kind of with the bullshit of YouTube too. There's a few YouTubers who got my back.
Okay, fair enough. What else do you have?
What do you mean? What else do I have? What else do you need? New Xenoblade, JP.
I still have to finish the first 2.
What the hell, man? Why do you hate me?
What a couple of jokers, am I right?
And then there's these games that have been talked about. No More Heroes 3, which is coming out, I think, in July.
Okay.
Shin Megami Tensei 5, which they said there'd be more information on this year. I don't see why they wouldn't put it in E3.
Okay.
And then Splatoon 3 is a 2022 release, and I don't think they're even really going to bring it up unless they have a demo for it. But I don't know why they would do that when they have Splatoon 2. I don't know. And then I think the only other 2 games I really want to talk about is Bayonetta 3.
Bayonetta, yes. They do need to come out with the 3rd installment of that.
Yeah, Hideo Kojima has been... Did I say his name wrong? I feel like I said his name wrong. He's trolled people about how like Bayonetta 3 is doing just fine and that everything's going great. And so it's just like, okay, if everything's been going great, they announced this game back in 2017. Where's it at?
Where'd he go?
Where did it go?
Have you guys played Bayonetta?
But apparently it's rather mature from what you've told me.
That is,
my.
yes.
Oh
Yeah.
my.
Bayonetta is a badass witch who ain't take no shit.
She is a badass. It's really fun playing her game. And I remember watching Zach play a little bit of the opening for, I don't remember if it was Bayonetta 2. They were like Christmas shopping. There was some short guy that looked like Danny DeVito. But it was super mature. I was very surprised. I was like, oh my.
Do you know you're on a Nintendo right now?
They're like, what? That can't be right.
And you actually have a costume where you can dress up as Samus
Ooh, that's cool.
or Peach.
Meh.
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 Peach doesn't have an arm gun.
True. What about Link?
Okay, that's not fair. Yeah.
But she's got a sword cannon.
You know I love everything Zelda. That's not fair. That's not fair.
And so, yeah, I hope Bayonetta 3 is alive and doing okay. Oh, and I forgot 2 things because I put them down here in small because I didn't really care too much about them, but I guess I should get your opinions on them. Okay, so first up, Kirby, new Kirby game. HAL Laboratory has been hyping it up, saying it's a new chapter for Kirby.
Ooh.
And I kind of go back to where we started with our Donkey Kong conversation.
Right? It all comes full circle.
Kirby literally is the easy mode of games. And I bought Star Allies, by the way. Really cute game, really fun. But
Really easy.
really easy, really kind of just like every time Kirby makes an animation, you're like, oh, like it was just one of those games. Like it's not like ever gonna be game of the year, but it's like good gaming comfort food, if you will.
Good gaming comfort food. I love that.
Nintendo makes a lot of those. There's 2 games that I would love to pick up if they would just fucking go on sale. Yoshi's Crafted World and Kirby Star Allies.
And they both went on sale for $30, and I picked them up, JP, just so you know.
Zach, what else? Is there anything else you want to add on to this rumors? We're running on to almost 50 minutes. We've been talking about a lot of great stuff tonight. Now's your chance. If there's something crazy you want to throw to the wall, this is it.
New Super Mario Party.
I would love that because I feel like they really missed the spot with the last Super Mario Party.
What? They did not.
I feel like it was okay, but they could have made it a lot better.
At least it wasn't Mario Party 10.
You got me there, but like, I don't know. Like, Mario Party is the ultimate, like, friends party game. It's so unbelievably iconic and fun. And the last time I remember just having a blast with Mario Party was with the Wii version. And Mario Party 8. And I tried to think, okay, well, what did they do that the current game did not? And for one, like, I feel like the mini games were, like, let's be honest, a lot of the mini games are copy and pasted, but like, I feel like they put in more effort with Mario Party 8 with originality. They had a lot more like fun and kooky concepts with like their maps. I remember so well how much I loved that train map and like kind of the mechanic of you land on the Bowser Square or the Bowser space and the train cars move, how interesting of a dynamic that was. Just, I don't know, little things like that. Just my 2 cents on it. Like, I just really feel like they could have done so much more with this Mario Party. And they did okay. They did what they had to release a product that was adequate. But they could have done more with it.
That was very well put, JP.
Yeah, I'm an articulate guy. What can I say?
Okay, finally, last thing I want to talk about. More 99 games. Okay?
Oh.
Donkey Kong 99. Don't know why it's not out yet.
Because what would that be?
No idea, JP, but it's gonna happen, okay?
I could see Donkey Kong 99 over Link.
Yo, Link 99, you kill Ganon. Everyone else has to kill Ganon at the same time. All right, I don't know.
I don't know.
What, the whole game?
You just play the game.
Or they do like a Nuzlocke challenge, like you get random items at random times. I don't know. You're more creative than me. Help me out, guys. Come on, somebody.
I would love an actual Pokemon game where you can just like enable the Nuzlocke challenge. I have a couple of problems with Nuzlocking. One of them is that the rules are self-imposed, but the biggest thing is no one can even really, I don't know how much you guys know about Nuzlocking. Nobody can agree on what the rules for Nuzlocking are. There's like a couple of main rules, but from there's a bunch of arbitrary smaller rules that people just kind of self-impose, and it just adds a lot of diversity. I'll give them that, but also it's like so hard to be like, okay, what is the official rules for a Nuzlocke?
Okay, so what is a Nuzlocke?
Oh, have you never heard of what a Nuzlocke is?
Well, mainly for the listeners.
Oh, okay. So Nuzlocking, so Pokemon, let's be honest, is not very challenging, especially the newer games. A Nuzlocke is essentially a set of self-imposed rules that you can play or that you can use while you play Pokemon to make the game more interesting for yourself.
Ah.
Like I said, there's a lot of rules that you can use, but there's only a few rules that are official to making it a Nuzlocke. For one thing,
such as?
I'm glad you asked, Sar. So for one thing, you only get to catch the first Pokemon that you encounter on every route.
Oh.
Route.
Whatever. You only get to catch the first Pokemon that you encounter on that route. You have to nickname every... Shut up. You have to nickname every Pokemon that you receive so that your friendship level with them grows. If a Pokemon gets knocked out, it's considered dead and you cannot use it for the rest of the game. And if you are out of Pokemon that you can use, you officially lose the Nuzlocke and you have to start over.
Ooh.
Those are the official rules. Now, like I said, there's a ton of smaller rules that you can use depending on whose Nuzlocke you're following, but that's the main set of rules where if you beat the Elite Four and the champion using those rules, you officially have won your Nuzlocke challenge.
Cool.
It is cool, but the problem is so much of it is self-imposed. I'd love to see an actual setting, but of course Nintendo would never do that, but I'm just saying.
No, because then that would be admitting that their game is too easy. So you have to come up with a bunch of arbitrary rules just to make it interesting.
And I get it that Pokemon's for kids. I really do. That's why I'm putting a lot of my chips into Pokemon Arceus, right? Because I'm hoping that is the mature, more challenging, different Pokemon game that we've been after for so long. Whether or not that's going to come into fruition is only going to be able to be told by time, but those are my hopes.
All right, guys. That's it for my Nintendo Switch E3 extravaganza speculation rumor mill.
Ooh, do we all get one of these?
Maybe, but I'm copywriting it and you got to give me monies.
Zach, I don't have money.
Zar's broke.
But I got to get JP more Xenoblades.
Oh, yes. Can we start a Kickstarter?
Zar didn't win any Space Bungalow credits.
How about a bake sale? We can do a bake sale for me.
Game T bake sale.
This is a picture, a poster. This is JP. There's nothing wrong with him. He just needs Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Peaches, you have been so awfully quiet, and I understand why. It's because nothing we have talked about applies to you, but we are about at the end of this rumor mill. Is there anything you wanted to say? Anything that sounded fun? Anything at all?
I like Pokemon. I played Bayonetta on Xbox back in the day.
Did you like it?
I didn't beat it because I was bad at video games, but it was fun.
That's fair. Peaches, you're just not much of a Nintendo guy.
Nah, it's not really my thing, but it's got a few things. So, I'll keep an eye out for Breath of the Wild 2.
My man.
All right, Zach, are you 100% done?
Until next week, yeah.
Until tonight when we get that 3:00 text message. Guys.
Well, we all know Nintendo.
Nintendo.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of the Game Tea Podcast. Only by watching E3 will we see if any of the weird shit we've talked about in this episode or any of the other episodes have come true. So, in the meantime, thank you all so much for joining us on another episode of the Game Tea Podcast. We'll see you in the next episode.
You just got your game tea.
What about Wii Sports HD? I mean, bye.
Later?
That'd actually be pretty lit. If you like what you heard today and you're looking for more ways to get your game tea fix, check us out on Patreon. With bronze, silver, and gold tiers starting at $2 a month, there are several incredible rewards you can receive for supporting the show, such as a follow from us on Twitter, access to a monthly Q&A session, an invitation to our private Discord server, and even bonus episodes of the podcast only accessible to patrons. Your donations will be used to make the show even better. The link to Patreon is in the description with our social media, so go check it out. Once again, thank you so much for listening to the Game Tea Podcast.